teenagers have been in New Zealand for nearly 6 weeks.
And who does the work, the female or the male?
Male.
The male. So who wants to be a Kiwi? The ladies?
Before that, for all of their short lives, they have known nothing but deprivation and war. They are Iranian Kurds, and most of them were born in Iraq, in a refugee camp called Al-Tash, a notorious enclave built by Saddam Hussein to contain the stateless Kurds, after they were forcibly removed from Iran in 1979 in fear of their lives.
بيش بسوسية سال كمبي رومادياوين بسوسية سال كمبي رومادياوين يعني للزنداني كسياسياوين للزنداني جزور لو باشتروها.
They lived here in poverty until the last Gulf War, when they were forced to flee to a camp in no man's land on the Jordan border, and they lived there for 3 years. Al-Tash was bad, but the Jordanian camp was much worse.
أما تقريبا عن سياسة هي ما يعني حيتش يعني لنا راحتي وخول خواردن بيج نانو خول ما ويكو هذا الريخ ويكو خواردن. أي أجر حكومتي نيوزيلندا يبي نقدر ده باوشو بماني أوري برا لولاتي آسيا من ألمان أمر لبرسيا من ألمان بيسواد ماوا.
In Ruwaishid camp, I think there were a number of facilities that were there, but it was all very ad hoc. And it wasn't set up for the number of people that were actually in that camp.
Christina was one of 2 New Zealand immigration officers who travelled to Jordan to interview the Kurds and decide who were able to come here.
We look at those people who are most in need, so that's where UNHCR will help us with that. And then we look at those who are best fit for New Zealand's capabilities.
A few weeks after the selection process, 152 Kurdish refugees were flown to New Zealand to begin their new lives. Like all of the 750 refugees that New Zealand accepts each year, they spent 6 weeks at the Mangere Resettlement Centre before being housed in several cities around the country. And the big day has finally arrived. While some families are going to West Auckland and Hamilton, the bulk of them will be going to Christchurch. Samin and his family will go on the first flight. Mohammed's family plus Ali Sher and his family will take a later flight. But for some of the refugees who've been together for over 20 years, saying goodbye isn't easy. At last, they leave the resettlement centre. Christina can't see them off today as she's on maternity leave. The Kurds are almost at the end of a very long nightmare. Ironically, they're finding refuge on the day that the trial begins of their former tormentor, Saddam Hussein.
How are you? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you and to you.
1 hour later, the refugees are crossing the Canterbury Plains and are soon on the ground at Christchurch. Here, it seems, the entire local Kurdish community has turned out to greet them. Also here are volunteers from the Refugee Resettlement Service, who will help them get established over the next few months. A convoy of Kurds leaves Christchurch Airport, with Samin and his children in one car and his wife about to follow in another. The first stop for the family is the house of a Kurdish friend, Khalil, who arrived here from Al-Tash camp 3 years ago.
I am happy, I am glad to see this family, and I do my best for this family. As much as I can, I help this family.
Steve and his wife Lois are also keen to do the best they can to get the family on their feet.
I've had a lifetime of the benefits of living in New Zealand. I can contribute to somebody else enjoying the benefits.
Steve and the other volunteers are treated to lunch, Kurdish style. But suddenly there's a worrying development. Samin's wife has not arrived at the house, and other volunteers have turned up to try to find her.
Mina knows she should come here?
She should come here, but she don't know.
Oh, Najima, thanks.
But she don't know.
Please tell him we're looking at the airport.
And so the excitement of the arrival is dampened by worry that Samin's wife is lost somewhere in Christchurch. Next, Kurd and Māori discover some common ground.
And hopefully one day I will partake of Kurdish food. Tonight we will partake of Māori food.
In Christchurch, Kurdish refugee Samin is concerned because his wife has not arrived from the airport. Volunteers from the Refugee Resettlement Service are now there keeping an eye out for her, while they wait for the next plane load of refugees, who are looking forward to being reunited with their family members.
I have not seen them for 4 years, I think, yeah. And really, it's happiness. I feel so happy to go there and to get the reunification with them again, and then to spend with them happily, to continue my life with them.
The emotional reunions continue. Mohammed hasn't seen his brother for 4 years. And neither has this man. Once again, there are volunteer helpers on hand to take the refugees to their new homes. Meanwhile, Samin and his family have got some good news.
Mother has been found, so we're going to go and find her, so we'll get everybody together and we're going to head away.
It turns out that Sharwat is at the home of another Kurdish relative. After picking her up, the family heads towards their new home.
Situation is very good.
They've swapped their desert tent for a house by the river. This will be the first real home